Good morning and welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. We're very so excited to have everyone join us wherever it is you're streaming or watching from around the world. We say welcome to Lagos State in Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebike, and in the GV we'll be moving straight to our newspapers, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can find us, reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Very so honored to have joining me physically right here in our studios, Emeka Madunago, journalist, public affairs analyst, and a development communicator. Thank you so very much, Emeka, and good morning.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Beautiful. So let's kickstart today from the dailies. We have interesting stories from newspapers today, and we'll be looking into possibly 2 or 3 newspapers. That's Daily Trust for today, Daily Trust newspaper, and the Guardian newspaper, and equally the Vanguard newspaper also. We'll be looking into them. But let's start with the Daily Trust newspaper. Re-gazetting tax laws illegal, lawyers. And on the top strip, we equally have Kano government planned defection on Seto's Kwankwaso's camp. We equally have Northern elders to Nigerians oppose federal government reckless borrowing. And right there, we have a picture of what was the accident scene involved Anthony Joshua. And we have it, it's like the scene of an accident where a truck rammed into of course, Carnival. Okay, this is in Nasarawa State, actually. Yes, but of course, this is more like bringing us back to what happened yesterday involving Anthony Joshua. Emeka, let's take a look at that particular story. Very gory one. Lots of footnotes there, lots of touching points there, lots of clarion call there. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had reached out to Anthony Joshua and the mother, and he was told Anthony Joshua was doing fine and doing well. But at the same time, what do you think Nigeria should learn? We know accidents are inevitable, but what do you think we can learn to possibly maybe get it frozen for a bit?
Well, thank you very much. What we can learn is that we should do better with our public services. Excuse me. We should do better with the state of our roads. We should do better with our response techniques. Arriving at an accident scene without first aid kits, without stretchers, without oxygen, doesn't speak well of an agency like the Federal Road Safety Corps. That they had to carry, those the corpses of the 2 guys who died on the spot. May their souls rest in peace. And they had to carry their corpses, like, they were moving some inanimate objects off the road. Was all right. And all these things have been shared all over the world. They don't speak well of us. And it's not as if these things cost an arm and a leg. They're not expensive. Excuse me, how much is an oxygen tank? How much is an ambulance, a fully equipped ambulance? I know the road safety. I've seen them with some here and there, but what happened to those ambulances? There should be more. On every federal highway, there should be at least 3 ambulances. And then, when you are, even Anthony Joshua was not put in an ambulance. I heard he was put in a police, put in a police vehicle. Why? Somebody was injured. There have been situations like that where people were injured and they were just lifted unprofessionally. You don't even know the state of their wounds. You don't know their state of health. You don't know if they have internal injuries. You just see people lift them. Then it's also a big shame that the story coming out, one of the stories coming out that their things were looted, their personal belongings were looted, phones were stolen and money. It doesn't speak well of us as a nation. Let me tell you, when I say we're hungry, we're not the only people in the world, living in countries with irresponsible politicians and, a thieving ruling class. Yes, but be that as it may, it also speaks to the politicians that they should know that crime, terrorism, and a lot of these ills, has cost 70% by socioeconomic factors. So when you loot the money meant for ambulances, when you loot the money meant for first aid kits, what do you have? Is this kind of situation. And any of them could have been involved. Look at Anthony Joshua, an international figure. A lot of people didn't even know who Anthony Joshua was. Some people ask, who is Anthony Joshua? If you don't follow boxing, you may not really know him. Like, for me, there are people you mentioned in football, I don't know them. Because I don't follow football religiously. So, why not make Nigeria safe and livable for all? We know that during festive seasons, there's a lot of movement, so there should be patrols. There ought to be patrols. There ought to be emergency measures. Look at the days preceding Christmas. The whole country was locked down in traffic, avoidable traffic. Those in charge, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, knew that we were approaching festive period. He knew the choke points, he knew the pain points on the roads around the country. What did he do? Nothing. So just business as usual. Then road safety, I learned they were giving out packs of bottled water. They were giving out bottled water to people. No, it's not the job of road safety to be giving out water to people. Unless, these things like that can be tangential. But do your work, your primary duty, carry your primary duty responsibly and professionally first, and which is to manage traffic. You ought to have known, you should have a forensic lab. You should have AI tools that would have given you an idea of the expected volume of traffic on the road. And it had been a long time, was it not around July or so, that people started saying that airfares will rise so much from December 1. Even airlines put it on their websites that airfares to certain routes on certain routes will rise. So road safety, Federal Ministry of Works, even the Ministry of Works in the states, and other agencies connected with their jobs ought to have known that a lot more people will be on the roads. People who couldn't afford such astronomical fares will be on the roads. So what emergency preparedness did you have? Nothing. It's sad.
Very so sad, really. I truly do hope that the normal, hypocritical, proactive measure of the government will not be set right now. I know this would give birth to them going to procure as many ambulances as they would want to, just to show that they are working. But after some time, those ambulances would not be available yet again, which brings us to square one of the very distasteful and shameful situation we have over the years found ourselves as a people. But let's take a look at other matters, and that is from the Guardian newspaper. Despite gains, CSOs raise sovereignty fear over Tinubu's silence on U.S. strike. Emeka?
Those CSOs should have also raised the fear. They should have raised the fears of sovereignty, when the terrorists were kidnapping people. There's this venerable lady in Achi, I think it's a venerable in the Anglican church.
Okay.
He was kidnapped along with his wife and their little daughter. The man has died in their captivity. The wife and the daughter are still in the captivity of these characters.
And no one is speaking about it.
Talking. An entire church, people in an entire church service were kidnapped. Was it in Kogi State also? Up till now, they are in the captivity of these criminals. And other people kidnapped here and there. Where is Leah Sharibu? The CSOs have forgotten Leah Sharibu. They've stopped talking about her. What sovereignty fears are they raising? Let me tell you, I tell them if they are raising sovereignty fears, they should purge themselves of the tendency to support terrorists. But that's what it is. That is what it is. There's no way to explain such irrational thinking. So which sovereignty? Didn't Nigeria cross the border to go and fight coup plotters in Nigeria? Benin Republic. Didn't Nigeria go to Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Gambia? Didn't Nigeria go to Sudan? Didn't Nigeria go to Sao Tome and Principe? What sovereignty? They should find something else to do. They should tell Nigerians their real intentions.
Well, while we wait for them to tell Nigerians their real intentions, security matters is still very strong and proven in Nigeria. But let's take a look at Vanguard newspaper for a bit. And to PDP crisis, Wike attacks Makinde. And Fubara says Makinde lied that I am holding PDP for Tinubu. Fubara has no political structure going to APC. Emeka, how do we hold on to Wike at this point? He is still a member of the PDP, but he's telling Fubara, who has officially joined to the APC, that he cannot secure the ticket for the next term in office in Rivers State. So where is Wike at this point?
There's people who take Wike seriously that I blame. You should, it's as clear as daylight how Wike, how his political career will end. It's as clear as daylight. Just look at what happened in the past. There were people now who are throwing themselves about. Where are they today? Where are they today? Fubara has moved to APC, and the National Working Committee said they will give him, and fellow governors said they will ensure he gets a second term ticket. As a matter of fact, it was even the state chairman of PDP in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, who took the form, membership form to him. So Wike, who is in PDP, and pretending to be fronting for Tinubu, is now determining what's happening in APC. He should know that he has outlived his usefulness. He has outlived it. Whatever he likes, he can say. He's somebody who is never comfortable with tranquility. When the environment is tranquil, he's not comfortable. So, one thing he should know is that his minions in the House of Assembly cannot impeach Fubara.
They can't.
They cannot. No, forget it. Look, it's as simple as ABC. Forget it. There are certain things that when they get to certain levels, just forget it. They no longer count in the scheme of things. They no longer count. They have lost the plot. Fubara has moved to APC. They have moved to APC. And if the party says you cannot impeach him, it's as simple as ABC. Or else the police will shut down the assembly. It's as simple. You shut down the assembly, the governor will be going to work. They won't shut down the government house now. If the police shut down the assembly, acting on, if they get a court order, and they shut down the assembly, to prevent a likely breach of law and order, what will you do? You cannot sit anywhere else, and that will be it. So Wike should realize that he has lost out. He has played himself out of reckoning. Yes, because when it comes to second term matters, it is not his province. 1. 2, when it comes to Tinubu seeking re-election, Wike is out of it. He's an ordinary minister. He's a mere minister. So it's not because Tinubu has allowed him that latitude. The person who has the latitude is the governor. It is the governor who has the latitude. And Wike should be careful, because all they just need to do is all those allegations that Fubara made against him about the budget of the state, they will just package those allegations to ICPC and EFCC. Just one invitation to either ICPC or both will just nail him. And it's looking like it's going to happen. Talking about Makinde has put him in his place now. I thought he said that any governor who tries to confront him, he will make the state ungovernable. I thought he would have carried out the threat. You think Makinde is some lily-livered governors who cannot? Let him go. Let him organize people and go to Oyo State. I've been waiting to hear that Wike's boys or whatever, they went to Oyo State. Let them go to Oyo State. Let them go to Oyo State and make Oyo State ungovernable and see what happens. Because Wike himself has said that Makinde is a dangerous man, he's a quiet man, but he's very dangerous. And that is the same person you are trying to combat. You have now taken Fayose drop Fayose into a matter that doesn't concern him. Fayose was governor. Fayose was governor of Ekiti State. He has still not explained what happened to the poultry matter as a governor. He has the fact that the court, federal court, has acquitted in that, as thrown out his matter. Of course, it's the same thing. It's just the same pattern of EFCC handling cases, with levity, serious corruption cases with levity, while chasing small-time crooks with so much energy. Is in pattern. So, that is why people like Wike will be strutting the whole place, moving about with outriders, with a Rolls Royce he claimed he bought with his money and all of that. But let me tell you something. Everything that has a beginning will have an end.
Because it was actually condescending when he said that that Makinde held an Amala convention. And the people there, Otitoju, who was a part of the team, they were just laughing. I was wondering, ain't these people knowing that this man is trying to demean what is a heritage for them, calling the convention an Amala convention?
No. You don't follow what we was. Didn't Sam Dadi Anyanwu, the former National Secretary of PDP, didn't he say they went to hold a Christmas carol? But even the NWC, where was it? The tenure has expired. INEC has said that the kangaroo caretaker committee that they set up, it will not recognize it.
Which of them?
No, the weakest people,
okay,
Sam Anyanwu and the rest of them set up, that it will not be recognized. Neither would the NWC that arose, led by, that arose from the convention in Ibadan. Neither would it be recognized on one basis. One, the Makinde group has this case in court. Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, who ran for national chairman of PDP, he has a case against the party. Then there is another case in court until those cases are discharged. But the point remains that one, there is an election coming up, an upcity election coming up in Ekiti, another one coming up in Osun.
Well, that of the Ekiti, the PDP candidate has been disqualified. It's not the PDP candidate for Ekiti. It's no longer running.
They will go to court. In Anambra, some gunmen didn't shoot the candidate, the governorship candidate of PDP? Was he not shot in Abuja? But he still participated in the election. They will go to court. So the last has not been heard about the matter. That you disqualify somebody doesn't mean he cannot seek legal redress. He can seek legal redress. That's why people have told Wike, leave now, go to APC. He said if he leaves PDP, it will collapse. And we said we are waiting now. When Ali Modu Sharif was making all the noise that he is the one sustaining PDP, if he leaves PDP will collapse. What happened? Was that not 2015 or thereabout, 2016? But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court said that Mohammed Makarfi, former governor of Kaduna, was the authentic national chairman of PDP. And interestingly, it was Wike, former governor of Ondo, Mimiko, and then Fayose, who actually resisted Ali Modu Sharif and threw him out of the party. So today now, Makinde, another former governor, is coming to throw them out, to throw Wike out of PDP. So it is a cyclical thing. What goes around comes around. It's a cyclical thing. It will come to his own turn now. His own turn on the conveyor belt will come now. Like you see boxes on the conveyor belt, you see them. So when they come through the carousel, what happens? They are taking off. Yeah. So he too will be taking off the PDP conveyor belt. And then the party will move on. The party will get new members. The party will get over all of this. Because I hear that they are waiting for an auspicious time to declare. But even if the PDP doesn't run in Ekiti or in Osun, it doesn't even improve Tinubu's fortunes. One, it doesn't improve Wike's fortunes. Because at the end of the day, what is surely going to happen is that Wike is going to leave PDP. PDP is going to bounce back. So they should just realize that, look, that game, the horse has bolted from the stable. He has lost the plot.
He has lost, actually, because even joining APC is not safe for him, because he knows that the APC bigwigs are equally waiting for him. They know him as someone that might come and destroy the party there. So it's unlikely.
The only reason why he's making a noise is because he has an appointment from Tinubu. Remove Wike as FCT minister today. They will clip his wings. All that just needs to happen. Go and write it down. Just let the EFCC, ICPC invite him.
Very true. Because
and interrogate him.
Yeah, because
he will be sober.
Very well so. Very well so. Because if Malami
Malami was
right now,
look at Malami has become sober. Malami is now quoting the rule of law.
Yeah, should obey court orders.
Malami, Abubakar Malami, in this country, Abubakar Malami, people have no shame. People have no shame in this country. Some people have no shame. If Malami had any personal shame, he should never talk about rule of law. Because what that man did with the rule of law as Attorney General, at different levels, is shameful. It's shameful. He wants to benefit from rule of law. After all the mayhem, this man allowed to happen. Somebody who fought Amotekun would have been established. He fought Amotekun. This same man.
All right, Emeka, let's move to, just before we wind up for this segment, let's move to Edo State for a while. Assault Pedro Obaseki narrates ordeal as amnesty and the PDP orders demand and justice. What's happening in Edo State right now with all of this Ebolo Obaseki feud that seems not to end anytime soon? When the people of Edo State should be expecting good governance from all sides. Rather, what they see is gory insecurity, kidnapping, cultism, assaults of different types. And imagine a man who just went to play football on a Sunday morning, only to be dragged along the road as a criminal and as a thief because of political feud. What do you think is happening?
The Nigerian police has sadly failed in many aspects. That's why, it's because the police don't want to act that you see all these kinds of things. Whatever the man was quoted to have said didn't warrant him being treated like that. It didn't warrant him being treated like that. And one thing people should realize is that when you enable brigandage, you set off a dangerous chain reaction of events of which you are likely to be a victim one day. Those who engineer those louds, those thugs, to go and attack it, I will let them know that their own time will come. It may not be now, it may be any time soon. Their own time will come, because that is the natural order of events. It doesn't matter what people think. We are trying to do this, it's irrelevant. If you don't allow the constitutional order to take effect, the natural order of things will take effect. And nature doesn't forgive. That's one thing people should know. Nature doesn't forgive. So that is why it makes sense for people to be very careful, very, very careful when they do certain things.
Very well said. Very careful when we do certain things, because what goes around comes around. The truth remains that you might be the whiz kids right now. You might be on top of the food chain, thinking that you are the only one there. But time would come when your time comes with a shelf life, and what you did to others might be done to you, even in the worst form and shape. So we should be careful as a people. That's just about the time we have for this segment. Just to let you know, Emeka would still be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. No other candidate comes close to me, Obi says. That in the beat is still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, has said he is better equipped to address Nigeria's economic and security challenges if elected president in 2027. Speaking during an interactive X-Space engagement with Nigerians, Obi said his background in building and managing businesses distinguished him from other aspirants. According to him, no one currently eyeing the 2027 presidency can claim the experience of starting a small business and growing it into a major corporation, and he has done that. Obi stressed that the economic reform is central to solving Nigeria's insecurity, noting that both issues are closely linked. The former Anambra State Governor described himself as a finance expert who understands a prudent resource management. He said his administration would prioritize small businesses and local manufacturers, describing them as the backbone of a strong economic anywhere in the world. Obi dismissed rumor that he was seeking to become a running mate within the African Democratic Congress ADC coalition, declaring unequivocally that he would be on the ballot in 2027. While affirming his support for the coalition, he urged his supporters to avoid violence, insults, and bullying. He said personal attacks do not deter him, adding that Nigeria's problem requires competent leadership, truth, dialogue, and unity. I still have Emeka Madunagu. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
So let's take a look at the swipe by Peter Obi. Lots of people have questioned that statement, saying that he is the best suited candidate for 2027 and so on and so forth. But let's take a look at that for a bit. What's your take on that particular declaration by Peter Obi?
Is it not the best?
Well, it's
if you say it's not the best, if you say it's not the best, then you can run. That's what I tell people. I have no right to query a woman has different suitors. Each say that he is in the best position to take care of the woman. And one suitor will be denigrating another suitor. What makes you better than the other person? The fact that you have money today doesn't mean the other man will not have money tomorrow. That's a simple thing. So the natural order of things is that, look, every man will put himself forward as the best for the job. And that's what Obi has done. Responsibly. He has not insulted anybody. He didn't say others don't have sense. Because, by the way, we don't even know the race for 2027 elections has not even been declared open by INEC. So right now, we're just, having conversations here and there. Tinubu has shown interest. Atiku Abubakar has shown interest. Now Peter Obi has shown interest. Makinde as well.
Rotimi Amechi.
Oyo State has shown interest. Rotimi Amechi has shown interest. There may still be others. So it's still early days. There may still be others who will show interest. There may still be others. So if Peter Obi says he's the best, I think people who are well educated, well mannered, well brought up, not some of the characters you see on social media, whom is very clear they have no upbringing. They lack proper parental upbringing. So they can insult anybody, they can say any rubbish. And you look at their profile, just pity such people. Because some of them are young people who have not even made anything in their lives. And this is how, that's what I asked about that. This is how you are starting life. A young one like you, this is how you are starting out in life. You better retrace your steps. So, I think Peter Obi should be applauded for having the courage. Let me tell you, for somebody to come out and declare that he wants to be Nigeria's president, to me is a suicide mission. No? It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of guts because Nigeria is a complex entity. There are so many issues about this country. There are a lot of people who are talking, abusing people, so don't even know 1/10 of the problems in this country.
But Emeka, let's talk about leadership now, especially for a complex nation like Nigeria, multifaceted in ideas, in thoughts, in religion, in tradition, in feelings and emotions and all. Do you think if we had a President Peter Obi at this time, maybe as the president currently, how do you think he would have dealt with all of this myriad of issues, really?
Very simple, very, very simple. That's just what you need to lead Nigeria is sincerity, honesty, and truth. The facts are on the ground. Peter Obi said he will remove subsidy. I know a lot of people have said all kinds, but twisted this way because President Bola Tinubu has failed spectacularly in managing subsidy removal. Very simple. He said he will remove subsidy in phases. He said, first of all, he will engage in a conversation with Nigerians about the viability of subsidy. Then he will remove it in phases. Make sure that as you are removing it, you are replacing it with what will make Nigerians to say, yes, it was good you removed subsidy. You see, Tinubu just removed it without even thinking of the legal, constitutional impediments in the way. The 1999 Constitution says in section 162, it says that all monies generated by the federation shall be paid into a federation account and shared between the federal, states, and local governments. That is a major impediment to development in this country. That section is a major impediment. Because so what it means that the Constitution is just saying every money made by Nigeria should be paid into the federation account and shared. There is no provision, and Peter Obi has said this, that it is sad that in the Constitution there is no provision for savings. The National Assembly ought to have amended the Constitution and added a clause that there shall be, that maybe a certain percentage of national earnings will be plowed into the Sovereign Investment Agency, the National Sovereign Investment, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority.
But don't you think that's what President Bola Tinubu has done already with the money that he has been saving internationally? Don't you think? We have close to about $40 billion.
So please turn it the other way. Income, debt, income,
debt. Foreign reserve.
No, hold on. Okay, you have foreign reserve, right?
Yeah, foreign reserves.
That's income, right? What about your that's a receivable? Mm-hmm. What about what is going out, your expenditure? What about your debts? When you calculate, you see that money is nothing. It's nothing. Because at the end of the day, you are still importing petroleum products. We take a large chunk of your foreign reserves. You see how people sending their children to school and depending on the same foreign reserves. Yes. Dangote accused the former MD, CEO of NMDPRA, Farouk, of paying 7.3 billion school fees for his 4 children in secondary school in a foreign country. The matter is still being investigated. We've not heard anything, even from the man. The statement that was released, where the man reportedly claimed it was a trust by his father that the children utilized. That was utilized to pay children's school fees. He was later rebutted. He said he wasn't the one who issued that statement. Then at the end of the day, where are we? The man hasn't said anything. So, and then other things. Look at the aviation sector. Alain Onyema, the owner of Airpeace, is shouting. He said that Nigerians pay the cheapest fares, domestic fares in the world. That is still a conversation. Go on social media, you will see all kinds of arguments, informed and spurious arguments. Then you have some other things that depend on that foreign reserves. So it's not just about giving us figures. For example, please give us the media, what remains after you remove all the expenditure. Now you have debt servicing, copying more than half of the national budget. And you are boasting about foreign reserves. Let's not be deceiving ourselves. We couldn't make beyond 30% of our capital budget this year. We have now put 70% to 2026. According to the Minister of Finance, what they do, we had targeted 40 trillion naira revenue, but what happened? We could only make 10 trillion naira. Even that 10 trillion naira has been gulped by debt servicing. Not debt repayment, oh. No, debt servicing, not repayment. They came in boasting that Nigeria was spending about 83% of its revenue on debt servicing, that they have reduced it. But it's still above 50%, which is a big risk, which is a red flag. And so what are you talking about? Any money you make, every 10 naira you make, you have more than 9 naira going to, going away. That's not a healthy economic situation. What President Tinubu could have done. People were saying that if you had to remove subsidy, the economy would have collapsed. Is a lie. It's a lie. Because Buhari's budget, Buhari's 2023 budget was still running.
It just was a few months to July. That was it.
Okay, what has this government done? Rolling budgets over. Rolling budgets over. As if you are in like a caterer, like a baker, rolling dough. Rolling 2023 to 2024, 2024, 2025. In between the supplementary budget, what have they done? Now they had to repeal the 2024 and 2025 budgets and reenact them to face realities. So look, they should stop all this sleight of hand. Nobody is interested. What we want is for this country to be better.
Now, for this country to be better.
Like what I was saying, what Tinubu needed to have done was to have Buhari already had made provision for a World Bank loan that would have cushioned the removal of subsidy. And by the way, remember the Petroleum Industry Act. Was it not 2021 it was passed? Now, he said, okay, that this act will be delayed. They agreed that, okay, that the commencement will be from June 2023, which to me was just a cowardly action by Buhari. Because you should have started it from 2023. At least you could have removed subsidy in part, so that Nigerians would have started gradually adjusting. I remember one time when Fayemi was governor of Ekiti, he said that the governors were looking at something like 350 per litre for PMS. Then it was around 170 or 180 or so. I think Buhari should have just beaten the bullet and said, okay, let's adjust a little, Okay, governors, make sure, let us agree on this. The money that will come from subsidy savings should go into specific projects, human development projects, like health, education, social services, security. You should have used that to create a buffer. So even when Tinubu came in, there wouldn't have been that need for that reckless statement, subsidy is gone. That was what upended everything. If you wanted to remove subsidy, you would have removed it in a more responsible way, in a more considerate way. And that's what Peter Obi said. That would have removed it in phases. One, do you know, gradually now, demand for PMS is dropping. Because people are moving to renewables. More and more people are putting money into solar. In fact, solar products are even becoming more affordable, averagely. Not generally, averagely. So, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, why do I need a generator? Even if I have a generator, I can always just put it as a fallback option, not as the main option. So many of my friends I know have sold their generators. So they tell you they have renewables, rechargeable bulbs and all of those things. Solar fans, solar lights and all of that. So they're replacing, the discos and PMS. So what he needed to have done is this. You have the CNG. You have electric. Inosin has brought out an electric vehicle. People are now talking more about electric vehicles. In fact, there's a small vehicle. They have seen some small vehicles with a solar panel on the roof.
Really?
Moving, yes. Conveying people, yes. So it was an opportunity for him to have said, okay, we will, this subsidy, removing subsidy, we would manage it creatively so that it wouldn't hurt Nigerians. But saying subsidy is gone was really reckless and inconsiderate.
But Emeka, do you believe, most of the time when we talk about revolutionaries, we have the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, Mugabe, when they all started, their nations thought they were the saviors of their country. But over the years, it realized that they weren't actually the savior to the country. Remember Kwame Nkrumah at some point wanted the one-party state. In fact, it was what nose-dived his popularity in Ghana at some point that led to him being ousted and asked to leave the country to Poland or Romania. Mugabe, the same thing. When he was about to handle the country, they thought they saw a revolutionary, only for him to have debased the nation. So do you think this aura of individuals who call themselves like savior of the country might really be, might not be what it is really?
Well, I will answer you this way. The era of Mugabe and Nkrumah, the rest of them, those great men, Julius Nyerere, was a different era. Remember then you had the Cold War.
Okay.
Yes, you had the Cold War.
So it contributed it?
Yeah, they were caught between different ideologies. Now, those in the South, that's Africa, parts of Asia and all that, chose to be non-aligned. So, certain things they could have done to have improved their economies, they didn't do them. So they were some of them were inclined to socialism.
Okay.
Which also contains authoritarianism. Unlike capitalism, which encourages plurality.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. I'll move to China. When you had Chairman Mao Zedong, he said the country should be shut for some years. The borders were shut and all of that. But people died because he was a school teacher. His worldview was limited to his province as a school teacher. He had not traveled. Well, he didn't have exposure to the changing dynamics of the global order. So people died. But look at Deng Xiaoping when he came in.
1979.
It wasn't a revolution. So when you say revolutionary, the only revolution people want to see is a revolution that puts food on their table. Not a revolution that causes them to suffer. Not a revolution in one man. That, no, Peter Obi has not brought up a Messianic complex.
But he has always touted to be like he did say here, that he's the best candidate and he feels he's the most competent of them all.
He didn't tell you he's the Messiah. Peter Obi, only as governor of Anambra State, chose one very simple method. He took the Millennium Development Goals, that later became the Sustainable Development Goals, and started implementing them. Look, let me tell you, there are no hanging fruits. I'm sorry to use this.
Yes.
This is cyclical, right?
Yes.
And that's how the wheel is. So it has been established that the wheel should be cyclical, right? So you cannot turn the wheel into a hexagon or into a square or into a triangle. We've all agreed over, many decades that the wheel should be cyclical, right? Good. So all you can do is to make it better. Like they say, you cannot change the wheel. So if you use the Sustainable Development Goals, number one goal says end poverty. I mean, it's not difficult. And it states steps towards ending poverty. Then he begins to talk about other things, and other things, water and all of those things. These things are not difficult. If you follow these things, you can make yourself better, your state better, you can make your country better. But the sad thing is that, and then the sad thing is that Tinubu feels he can depend only on IMF and World Bank prescriptions. You drew up a document, medium-term economic expenditure framework for 2025 to 2027. And inside, around page 50, I think between page 50 and page 60, go and check it. Where the source of the information in that NTEF, where they got the information from, they said it was from an IMF handbook. How can you plan for a country's expenditure framework for 3 years? And what you are doing is just to lift sections of an IMF handbook. Has IMF ruled Nigeria before? How are you sure that their prescriptions are not just, wide of the mark? Why would you prefer that instead of the SDGs? The World Economic Forum is there. It has given you prescriptions. The World Bank has given you prescriptions that do this, but what you're more interested in is the World Bank's loans. The IMF has also told you that your spendings are reckless, that you should cut the cost of governance. You should do certain things, but what are you doing? You are bloating the cabinet. You now have commissions for almost all kinds of things, both ridiculous and necessary. And that is why we are having the problem. Peter Obi said the pathway to dealing with crime is by engendering prosperity. It's as simple as ABC. Make the people productive. When you make the people productive, the people will willingly pay taxes. Stimulate consumption. That's what Obama did when he became president of the United States. You stimulate consumption. So when the people, if there's regular power supply through different sources, it must not be only through discos and gencos. You encourage electric vehicles, you encourage renewables, you encourage different things, CNG, and just as many options as possible, throw them into the basket. Let's be using them. You go to the University of Lagos today, part of their transportation system is electric buses. So throw electric buses into the streets. Have a pact. You have a Nigerian automotive fund. Discuss with vehicle makers, automakers. That okay, what can we do? If we can, how can we make electric vehicles cheaper? Instead of bringing in used vehicles from abroad, how can we make electric vehicles cheaper?
But Emeka, it's not as easy as you think, because I remember Innocent, while he was the reason you don't see so much innocent vehicles around the country is because to a great extent he can't meet demands.
No.
He cannot meet demands.
It's not true.
No, he cannot meet demands, because I
no.
remember when Alex
there is no demand.
I remember when Alex the reason caused Charis
you cut my thought off. My thought process, you cut it off.
Okay.
I said the government should go into an agreement and understanding with automakers in such a situation that will generate jobs and will enable them to meet whatever demand. What is the demand? Is it not from human beings? Is it not from Nigerians? What demand? If the government, was it not government that gave Dangote support? That actualized Dangote refinery? The Nigerian Content Development and Management Board assisted modular refineries by taking 20% in all the refineries that are coming up. That's why you have Watersmith today. You have Edo refinery. You have Dangote refinery. Bua refinery is coming up in Akwa Ibom State. So what are we talking about? All that needs to be done is government. You see, instead of giving licenses for importation, take part of the money, put into automakers. That is what countries like China do. That is why you see electric vehicles from China are even cheaper than the ones from the West. Because why? The Chinese government has a deliberate policy to encourage local production and use it as a leverage in the international market. So what I'm saying is this: why can't Innocent meet demand? What is the big deal? What's the big deal if it has governmental support? Not just Innocent, you have others, Gili and Jack, GAC, and the rest of them. You have Dangote Motors now, former Project Authority. What you need to do, have a deliberate policy to say, okay, we will reduce importation.
And that would not affect the long chain, at the end of the day, value chain.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's the same thing we did with food. That was what Buhari did when he closed the border.
No,
I
didn't say close.
Nigerians
I didn't say close the border.
You said reduce importation.
You don't have to stop importation. What you need to do, just like what you did with Dangote. And we even had a big miss with Dangote. NNPCL was supposed to take 20% of Dangote. They ended up taking only about 17%. Whereas look at LNG, Nigerian liquefied natural gas. We hold 49%. Foreign investors hold 51%. That is the model that people have told government. Go to different businesses and invest that way. You'll be getting your dividends. After some time, you'll start reducing and you'll be selling the investments. You have a shareholding of 40% in the Gencos and Disco. What have you done with it? What have you done with it? So why not sell it off? Why not sell off that so that there can be more money going into, there can be more, equity funds going into the Gencos and Discos, and then they'll be better managed. Not what we have, where you are writing off debt owed by NNPC. Who is going to pay? There's no free lunch anywhere. So to the issue at hand, Peter Obi has not called himself a messiah.
Okay.
He has only said, look at my personal story. It's verifiable. Use that to judge my program. And he has brought up his program. It's as simple as ABC. So, that if you think Tinubu is a better manager, support him. Sell his candidature. But you don't have to be insulting people. Calling people names. You don't have to. Renaud Mokri, who doesn't even understand the limits of, indecent communication. Somebody who should be taking briefings from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is now jumping back to social media. It shows you, let me tell you, when people are not fitted, ill-suited for positions, it shows. They should have just left Renaud Mokri in the presidency, one office, just give him one office. Let him just keep helping them to spread nuisance. Then you take people who are serious-minded as ambassadors. But look at Tinubu's ambassadorial, it's the same I don't care attitude. That is it, the sloppiness. Look at many of the people in the government, in boards and parastatals, how many of them would you put such people? If you are running a private business, would you put such people to run your business? That's the question that we ask. Would you put such people to manage your business? Or Peter Obi has said clearly, I managed Anambra. I was the one who told governors, let us, was it in 2007, he said, let us not deplete this excess crude account. He said, let the money be put into the NSIA. But the governors insisted. They refused. I don't want to mention names, but they know themselves. So, what we're talking about is this. Peter Obi has basically said, this is my track record. In personal business, this is my track record in governance, and these are the things I can do. And when somebody has a verifiable background, look at Georgiana Meloni in Europe. Look at what she's doing. That is in Croatia. So look at what she's doing. Look at some of the leaders who have come in now and they've, sold presidential jets, cut the cost of governance. Are their countrymen not happy? That's what Peter Obi has said. Now, why should my wife be first lady? She doesn't need it. We don't need to waste money. The funds are limited. Let's put them in critical sectors. You don't have a first lady in the constitution. Why should she have an office? Why should she have security aids? Why should she have vehicles allocated to that office? Easily go there now, you have first son of the Federal Republic. The abuse is just first daughter of the Federal Republic. Peter Obi will never do. You see the people who criticize it, they wonder that Nigeria has such an impeccable character. They know their own people cannot stand beside Peter Obi in a competence and integrity test. They know. That is why you see them attacking him, because you see when people know that they cannot meet up to certain standards, you see them, they go with things. I've told them, if you want principled debates, because if any insult drops on your mouth, that debate will stop automatically. Let's deal with issues. Let's deal with facts. Then we can come out to debate. But when you're more interested in insult, it only shows how little your mind is. You've seen people who have been writing, so-called opinion writers, and writing that the U.S. airstrike will prevent Nigerians from getting visas. My brother, if Nigeria is working, many of our people abroad will not go.
They will not go, definitely.
They don't want to leave. Many of our people abroad just went abroad because of the criminal devaluation of the naira. The criminal devaluation of the naira. If the naira were stable and strong, what will you be going abroad to do? Do you know there was a time the naira was 75 kobo to $1, 1 to 1 pound? So what are we saying? It's as clear as daylight.
Very well. It's as clear as daylight, ladies and gentlemen. You will all agree with me. What Nigerians are basically looking for is good governance. That's all we're looking for, because with good governance, you can get everything that you want. With good governance, the possibility of seeing the country move towards an effective, efficient traction is often there. The reason why Nigeria has been looked down at currently by nations as small as Burkina Faso, it's because we do not have leaders who understand the rule of engagement. We do not have leaders who understand the Nigeria First policy. What we have, unfortunately, are leaders who think outside than inside of the country. Our president went to Abu Dhabi summit, sustainability summit, as invited by the president of Abu Dhabi, I would love to believe. And lots of Nigerians would wonder, when would President Bola Ahmed Tinubu equally curate a Nigeria sustainability summit, yes, and have the president of Abu Dhabi and Emmanuel Macron and other leaders around the world come to Nigeria and be part of it? You can see the priority that we have, especially for those who say they are the best suited to lead a country like Nigeria. We pray for better days, and we know that, like we've often said, God is a Nigerian with a green passport, and we know he would never let us down. That's our take for today. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
Open here. And thank you, people, for making this a day. Please do well to visit us. You can find us at enterprise.tvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwebike. Have yourself a splendid day. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. We'll see you on another episode. Bye-bye.